If you look at a gardener covered in dirt and an artist covered in paint, they might seem like opposites, but both are looking at raw materials and seeing the potential for a masterpiece. To understand how this poem works, we first need to look at three specific tools of the studio. This starts with the palette. A painter uses this board to hold and mix their colors. For a gardener, that mixing board is the soil itself. Then there is the hue. In art, a hue is simply a specific shade of a color. In this poem, the poet treats the vibrant colors of the flowers as the natural world's version of those paint shades. Finally, we have the canvas. This is the blank, physical surface where the artist works. In the garden, the canvas is the empty plot of land waiting for the first seed. These three tools, the palette, the hue, and the canvas, provide the framework we need to map the poet's specific metaphors. Stanza 1 opens with the gardener's hands in the dirt. They aren't just planting, they are seeping their dreams and hopes into the soil as they place each seed. This setup relies on the metaphor. This is a device that creates a direct link between two unrelated things. The poet uses it here to turn a physical chore into an artistic process. Look at the phrase palette of earth. By linking these two words, the poet suggests that the ground beneath our feet is a storage space for every possible color that will eventually bloom. Then the seeds become brushstrokes. This implies that planting isn't random. It's a deliberate, precise movement intended to create a specific visual effect later on. Because a gardener works with nature, they have to wait. They plant their brushstrokes and then step back, showing the same patience an artist has while waiting for a layer of oil paint to dry. Stanza 1 establishes that both the artist and the gardener begin with an empty space and a slow, intentional preparation. Stanza 2 fast-forwards through that waiting period. The quiet soil gives way to what the poet calls a painted sight, an explosion of color in the morning light. Notice the phrase, blossoms bloom. The repetition of that B sound at the start of the words is called alliteration. It gives the line a sense of energy and growth. The poet uses specific imagery, calling out shades of green, red, and blue. These details help us visualize a space that is becoming crowded with different living elements. Unlike a static painting on a wall, this artwork moves. The poet describes the flowers dancing, showing that this garden is a living, breathing spectacle. By the end of this stanza, the gardener's patience has turned into a result that is ever new, changing slightly every time you look at it. We've seen the soil act as the palette and the seeds fight as the brushstrokes. Based on that logic, what part of the garden will the poet compare to the canvas in the final stanza? Pause and think. The answer is the individual garden plots. The poet views each specific patch of land as its own wide canvas where a new story can be told. Stanza 3 claims that in these plots, art and life coincide. This happens because of the physical work of the gardener's hands, turning an ordinary piece of land into something extraordinary. This final stanza suggests that the act of tending to growth is what elevates simple dirt into the realm of art. We can now look at the poem as an allegory, a work where the literal story points toward a deeper meaning. The literal level is what we've mapped out. The gardener's work mirrors the artist's craft. To find the deeper level, look at how the plants behave. They grow from seeds, bloom in seasons, and eventually make way for new growth. This mirrors the cycles of human life, from our own beginnings through the different seasons of our age. Consider also how the poet describes many different colors, red, green, and blue, all thriving in the same plot. Because these diverse plants coexist in one garden, they become a symbol for how a healthy society can function through harmony. Canvas of Soil uses the language of art to describe how we might grow together, turning the simple act of gardening into a study of human connection. This infographic organizes our entire analysis. The left side maps the central metaphors, while the right lists the devices the poet uses to build them. You may want to pause and screenshot this frame to use as a study guide for your notes. Understanding these layers helps us see everyday processes, like planting a garden, as meaningful acts of creation.